Kibbe and Friend Show, episode number 363. Available in YouTube, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Pandora, iHeartRadio, Instagram, and Patreon. I'm your host, Rob Kibbe, period. And that's it. Co-host Justin Corndog Cornett, period, is not here. And the glass booth of emotion that usually has Bernie McPartland, producer extraordinaire, is empty. I'm just here to do an intro here for you today because none of us are here today because this is releasing on a day when none of us showed up at work. This is a bonus episode for you. This is part 2 of our feature interview with legendary Dukes of Hazzard stunt performer Corey Eubanks. We had part 1 last week, and it was so much good content that we went ahead and split it into 2, I should say. And today is part 2. You can find, if you're watching this on YouTube, you can find the previous show just right there on our channel, the Kibbe and Friends Show. And if you're listening to this, just look at last week's episode. And that's it. That's where it'll be. If you are watching, though, I want to let you know that the Kibbe and Friends Show is an audio podcast that started 10 years ago. And we reviewed all 7 seasons of the Dukes of Hazzard, plus countless Hollywood, automotive, pop culture, phenomenal movies, and plenty of dumb ones too. We've got all those out there for you. We're now going back through the entire Dukes of Hazzard series and lots more movies to put them all here on video. But as we make the transition, sometimes we got a little one, a little the other. And today, to make it worth your while to listen to the audio show, we are going to, after Corey Eubanks part 2 interview, we're going to rerun our feature interview from last year of the movie Starsky and Hutch, the one with Ben Stiller and Owen Wilson. It's awesome, and Corey does the stunts in it. Lots of jumps in it, rear wheel slides, the whole bit. That's all here coming up in the audio podcast only. If you're in our Patreon audience, patreon.com/KF show is where you would go for that. We've already posted the full interview there. And for those of you who don't like waiting, I encourage you to join us on Patreon. That's patreon.com/KF show. But for now, let's go ahead and get rolling with our bonus episode here featuring Corey Eubanks. And then for those of you that want to pop on over to audio, you can listen to the review of Starsky and Hutch. Whew, that's a lot of plugs there. One more. This show and this interview presented by Holley, the high performance air and fuel delivery company. 100 years in the making. Every General Lee out there probably had a Holley carburetor on it. Your car should have some Holley fuel injection on it. And Holley is made up of a lot of brands. I'm using all their brands for safety gear right now for racing. So you can find anything you want. Go to Holley.com. When you make a purchase, tell them that we sent you. Enjoy, everybody. We'll be back next week. Smash the subscribe button.
Gary Baxley was the second unit director. For 5 days, I was driving the General Lee on the floor. And I had a walkie-talkie that we taped to the floor. And I was crunched up in a little ball, like like in your fetal position.
Yeah, you pulled it off good because you couldn't see. You couldn't see you in the.
Yeah, you could. And I'd have to reach up, and I had a little section of the steering wheel that I could actually touch. If I went up too high, my hand would come into frame because they had a camera inside the back 35 millimeter lens on some sticks in the back showing that no one's driving the General Lee. So they left a little piece of the steering wheel. And I drove that thing for 5 days, even did a mini ramp jump.
Wow.
Driving on the floor.
Is that the one over the log?
Yes.
We've reviewed that episode, and, and it really does look like a remote control driven car.
Even the in-car view was great because I'm like, it's not being towed. It's not on a flatbed. I mean, it's being driven.
I highly recommend against doing that. It was not comfortable at all.
Well, now they do RDV vehicle, and it's fine. You can do that.
So what the shot was, it was a Friday. It was the last shot of the night because we're about to lose our son. And Gary Baxter says, "Oh, Corey, hey, just get up here by the boar's nest and come. We're going to get a shot of you coming down the road." He never mentioned to me that Clifford Happy and Russell Solberg, are doubling Bo and Luke, and they're in Daisy's Jeep out looking for the General Lee. Never told me that. All I knew was I'm driving down the road. And I'm driving, and Action Corey and I come down the road, and Jerry Summers was coaching me on the walkie-talkie like he had been all week long. To your left, to your right, slow down, get ready for a hard right, hard right, hard right. Okay, slow down. Okay, speed up, speed up. Those are my instructions. But we had them down. We were pretty good. All I heard was, okay, action, and okay, Corey, hold it straight. And that's it. And I'm listening, and I'm thinking, oh, my walkie-talkie may have gone dead. And I was just reaching over to see if the volume was up all the way, and bam, we hit head on. I thought I hit an oak tree because I didn't know that there was a Daisy Jeep on the road coming head on. What had happened was Clifford Happy, who was driving, got confused between his right and camera right. And him and Russell Solberg were kind of having a debate about it. And Russell's like, no, if the camera's in the back of Corey's General Lee looking at us, you got to go camera right, which is your left. And at the last second, Clifford goes, oh, and he cranked the wheel. And it just plowed on just pushed on the gravel. And we hit head on. And the emergency brake went into my back, and the steering wheel came down, and radiator fluid was coming in and spitting on me. And again, I thought I hit a tree. And when I got out, everyone, they come over and they pulled the door open, and I get out, and I'm laying on the ground, and I look underneath the General Lee, and I see Russell Solberg flop to the ground, and I see Clifford Happy flop to the ground. And I'm thinking, oh my God, they must have been behind the tree. And when I finally stood up and I saw the Jeep, I'm like, what the hell just happened? And they loaded the three of us up into a van and took us to the hospital there in Valencia. So they haul us off to this hospital, Clifford Happy, Russell Solberg, and myself. And Russell was in a lot of pain, and Clifford was in a lot of pain, and my back hurt, but I wasn't that badly hurt. So they took the two of them and put them in a room, and they laid me on a gurney. And I'm laying on a gurney in the hallway, and all of a sudden, like for 20 minutes, and all of a sudden I hear this other gurney coming down the hallway with squeaky wheels, kind of squeak, 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 and they park it right alongside mine. And this man is laying on this gurney in excruciating pain and just moaning and groaning. And I'm like, I go, what's wrong? Were you in a car accident? He goes, no, I'm a stunt man, and I was working on a show called Airwolf, and I did what they call an air ram, and I overshot the pad and landed on a rock, and I broke my hip. I go, you're a stuntman? He goes, yeah. I go, what's your name? He goes, Tommy Huff. I go, Tommy Corey Eubanks. We shook hands. He goes, what are you in here for? I go, I was working on Dukes of Hazzard, and we had a head-on collision. He goes, a couple stuntmen meeting on the hallway of a hospital. I guess we're not very good, huh?
Okay, so you didn't wreck it. It was wrecked and you were in it. How's that?
Thank you. Thank you. Let's go with that. That's a better description for me.
Have you ever been fearful of losing your life doing this?
Absolutely, yes. I think that's why I've been not hospitalized very much over the past 44 years. That's all I've been doing for a living, other than when I directed there for a while. But yeah, 44 years doing stunts. And again, guys, we're all friends. I hope you don't think I'm trying to impress you or be braggadocious about it. But I do a lot of very big, dangerous vehicular stunts. And I've made it my mission in life to educate myself about the proper roll cages to use, the construction. I've studied roll cages from all over the world. I'm talking on Transformers from London to Spain to Dubai, England, Paris, France. I've studied fabricators and special effects men and how they construct roll cages, and fascinating. And we're using 2-inch 120 DOM steel tubing and how the triangles, and we're mastered that and all the equipment to use, and have been able to keep myself from being seriously injured. I've had a lot of concussions, which you can't really stop that from. If you shake your head, your brain's gonna. But I learned that if you stay hydrated, if you drink a lot of water before you're doing a stunt, your brain is actually like a sponge. It'll expand a little bit and reduce the amount of slap between your brain and your skull. So yeah, and also I think because of my fear, I'm not the bravest guy. Hey, let's throw caution to the wind. I've lost 9 friends dead in this industry, and you got to be cautious. You got to be afraid. I think when you're fearless, then you're going to have a very short career as a stuntman.
Corey, I have 2 questions that go with that. Then, number one, in your opinion, is stunts or stunting? Is it an art or is it a science?
That's a really good question. Did you ask ChatGPT for that, or did you get that from Siri? How did you come up with that question?
He's the smartest one here.
That's 30 years of broadcast talking right there.
You know what? I think it really is dependent upon what the stunt is. And the reason I say that, there are some that do involve science, and there are some that is very artistic. And it depends. And there's some that's just plain stupid. It doesn't take any talent. And it's all risk. So there's really a wide variety. I would think it's more artistic, because we're trying to not just create the illusion of danger, but make it look much more dangerous than what it is. And I think there's an art to that. And
while making it look easy, perhaps?
Or making it look a lot more difficult than what it really is. There's a lot of times we do that as well.
Understood.
I think about Al Wyatt drifting the car, and like you've mentioned, it just came so natural to him, and it looked, it looked like he's just all over the place, but he's total control of the car, and it looked beautiful.
Yes, and he was just and influenced so many. There are these drifters that I've worked like when we were doing Fast and Furious 3 Tokyo Drift, and Reese Millen and Tanner Faust and Samuel Hubinet and Rich Rutherford. These are some of the best drifters in the world. And every single one of them said they were influenced by watching the Dukes of Hazzard. I said, well, you were watching Al Wyatt Jr. That's,
the way that the General Lee wags, like, it always looks like it's got 10,000 horsepower. Because whenever it's moving, it's always shaking and moving and twisting and popping. But Bernie, what's your second question? I'm really curious.
Can you mentor somebody in stunting?
Yes, you can.
Okay.
Yes. A total newbie?
Yes, you can. One thing that you guys, I don't know if you're aware of, during the COVID and everything got shut down, and I was bored to death. And my wife said, "Why don't you? I got to find something to do to keep me busy." She goes, "Why don't you put on a car crashing clinic?" I'm like, "What?" Because there's stunt driving schools. Mm-hmm. I researched it. There's not a car crashing clinic in the world, and so I put one on. And I took the knowledge that I've learned from jumping the General Lee. I built a jump landing simulator, which is 10 foot tall. It collapses like a General Lee coming to the ground. And I got 3 different vehicles and put full roll cages in them. And another one I called the brain shaker that I put people in. We wrap them with spec cord and this tech, and you snap roll them, and you'll get 5 or 6 rolls out of it. I've had people come from Australia, Indonesia, Germany, Canada, all over the East Coast, and Chicago and LA. I put on a dozen of these car crashing clinics, and I had 112 students. And I even had the safety guys from Warner Brothers and from Paramount come out and audit. They asked, "Can we come out and see how you?" Because they don't even know what's needed to do things safely. What's dangerous in our occupation is you could go do a McDonald's commercial, get Taft-Hartley, and because your Uncle Bob is the producer of a feature film they're doing, and they got a big car crashing sequence, they can hire you to go crash that car, and you have 0 experience doing it. And that endangers everybody on the set. And there is no protocol. There's no, well, he has to have done this. And we're the only country, by the way, that's that way. Back in England and Spain, you have to go through training courses. If you want to do some stunts that involve water, you got to be certified as a scuba diver, and you got to go through a 6-week course. If you're going to work on a film with fire, you got to go through a fire course. You're going to horses, fights, cars, motorcycles. You have to qualify in order to get that to be eligible to be hired. Here in the United States, your dad could do a show called The Newlywed Game and call the executive producer.
This, I would not have guessed that. I would have thought there was prerequisites and qualifications.
You would think.
What's the Oscar category that's coming up in a couple of years?
Well, you know the thing that's funny about that? What is it? Best action director? Is that action? Is it action?
I'm looking for the stunt. I thought there was a stunt performing. Oscar category
Yeah, because
coming up in a few years from now.
Jack Gill has been working tirelessly on trying to get this across the board of whoever it is. And I think he finally got somewhere with it. And I don't remember what the award.
I do. I know what it is. It's action designer. Best action designer. Now, here's why I think that is problematic. First of all, there's no union that recognizes an action designer. It's a fictitious, made-up title. In the Screen Actors Guild, there's the stunt coordinator, and there's the stunt man, and there's the stunt woman. Now, if you asked me, what I think would be fair is have best stunt coordinator, man or woman, it doesn't matter, like best director in the DGA. It could be a woman or a man, it doesn't matter. I would have best stunt coordinator, and then best stunt man and best stunt woman, have those 3 spots. The reason I say I think it's robbing someone of their involvement and their credit that they should get, best action designer. You go tell Michael Bay, who I've done 7 movies with, that, Michael, even though you designed and came up with the whole concept of it, we're going to give the stunt coordinator an Oscar for best, action designer, because he was actually the stunt coordinator on the show. It sometimes the finished product of what you see, some writer wrote, and there's a car crash in the intersection, and then he hands that to Michael Bay. And Michael Bay turns on his creative juices, and he comes up with this incredible sequence and turns to the stunt coordinator and says, I want you to do this for me. And then it's Michael Bay that puts the cameras and gets the coverage and edits it together and makes this spectacular sequence. And he's not going to get credit for best action designer. It's not really fair, in my opinion.
And also, too, you have in any stunt, there's multiple stunt men and women to make this one stunt come together. So how do you pick just one person?
Yes. And now I sit here with you guys, and I confess, I don't believe that I deserved my second stunt Taurus World Stunt Award. I was in the sequence, but what I did, throwing a 180 in this car on Taxi, doubling Jimmy Fallon, was superfluous. It was background fill. It didn't matter if me throwing a 180 in this taxi cab in the background wasn't an intricate part of the stunt that actually won the award. But because I was in that piece of footage, it qualified me. It's just like on the bus stunt I did on Fast 5 when I cannon rolled that prison bus 3.5 times. There were some other people involved in that sequence that were behind me. And because little pieces of film editorially put them in the scene, they too got a Taurus World Stunt Award.
I think Stunt Stories Live is what's needed. I personally would love to go and how long is it? A few hours? Like how long?
It's 9. Here's how it's 90 minutes. I get up there and I talk and I show footage. I show that Starsky and Hutch screw up. I talk all about it. Because there's a message there. I go to the stunt performers and I say, hey, take it from me. Don't let your ego get in the way. Don't let your ego you want to prove to everybody you can do it. No one cares. It's just what the finished product is. So I show footage. I tell stories. But then when I do the question and answers at the end, that can go on for, I'm there. I'll go as long as you guys want. But so it could be a couple hours.
Okay, CoreyMEubanks.com is the website for information and to find. I assume you have social channels that people can follow as well?
Well, you mean like Instagram and Facebook?
Yeah.
Is that what you're talking about? Yeah, I do. But I don't know. I think my Facebook page, I can't have any more friends on it. I didn't make it personal or something, and I can only have 5,000.
Yeah.
Well, yeah. I'm sure you have more than 5,000.
You can make a fan page.
I don't know.
Well, to go to CoreyMEubanks.com. And I was joking before. I don't know your middle name. Is it Michael?
Yes, it is. It's Michael.
Wow. Okay. That's great. All right.
Yeah.
Awesome.
But now, wait, one thing real quick that's funny about that is if you go to the Fast 5 movie and you look up the stunt credits, My name's not in there.
How could that be?
I did the biggest vehicular stunt in the history of filmmaking. I won the Taurus World Stunt Award, and I'm not listed amongst the stunt guys. Do you know why?
No.
Justin Lin, the director, had me play a little tiny part when we were doing the train sequence out in Sedona, Arizona. I mean, in Parker, Arizona. And because I was playing a little part, they put my name in with the actors.
Oh,
and they spelled my name wrong. So
I'm sorry.
Yeah. So I had some friend of mine from high school send me a text. I thought you said you worked on Fast Five. I freeze framed the movie. Your name's not even in the credits anywhere. And I'm like, what?
Thought he was upset because there's no way you just hit the back of that Charger without hurting the Charger. But
you know, it's so funny you say that. It is on the first take when we did it, when only one cannon fired. Did you know that?
No.
I remember you talking about it before.
Yeah, only one cannon fired. And also that's the thing about it, in my Stunt Stories Live, I dissect it. I tell it all the way down to how can 3 cannons all be connected to one trigger switch and fire them all at the same time, but only one fires and the other 2 don't. So I explain all of that. But yeah, it was wait, what we just said, you were asking me what?
How did you hit the Charger? How did it hit the Charger and not hurt the Charger?
Yeah, no. So on the first take, when I did hit it, because that's what Justin Lin wanted, hit it. And so now he studied that footage. 2 days later, we come back with the second bus to do it again. And he walked up to me and said, "Hey, Corey," he goes, "we were looking at the footage, the editor and I, and the way you hit that Charger, I know I asked you to, but it looked like it would have killed Paul Walker's character. So could you just go over it without hitting it?" And I was I get a little, not agitated, but I guess I kind of turn into a little bit of an asshole when I get nervous. And I said, "Yeah, Justin, yeah, I'll just go right over. It's just like a feather, it's a 42,000-pound feather. I'll just go right over the top of it." Like, what a stupid thing to ask me when I'm getting ready to go do the stunt. Now my mind's all messed up. But yeah, he asked me to go over it, and it was all luck. All luck. Just before I thought, well, I'm going to hit it, I better hit the button sooner. And those cannons fired and carried me right up over the top of it.
No kidding.
Yeah.
It did happen.
Oh, yeah.
No,
I went right over the top of it.
All right.
Well, hey, it's the same thing on the Dukes of Hazzard when you come in and you hit a bunch of bushes and the General Lee flies
just
163 feet and the bushes don't even move, right?
Yeah, it's like they didn't get touched. Corey M. Eubanks is the website. Anytime you'd like to come back, we're here. It'd be our pleasure.
Well, you guys, I've really enjoyed it. It was nice meeting you, and thank you so much for having me on.
Anytime. Thank you.
I appreciate you.
All right, guys.